Yo, this is Frodo. Welcome to my closet. This is Fernando, aka Frodo Finds. Welcome to my channel. Today's video, we're going to be watching about Fanni Willis. Some of you probably know her, back in 2021. She's the one that led the investigation, actually charged President Trump and 18 others for the election interference in Georgia. So, now that I think she had an appeal to the higher court, and it kind of got struck down. So yeah. So Nate the lawyer is going to break it down for us, and I'm going to be stopping and skipping and putting on my comments on that. So if you want to watch the whole thing, go to Nate the lawyer YouTube channel. So without further ado, let's go. Let's do it.
Fanni Willis, now that the state's highest court has rejected her appeal in the election interference case.
Today, the Georgia Supreme Court, they released a major decision in this Fulton County 2020 election interference case where President Donald Trump and 18 others are accused of illegally trying to overturn Georgia's presidential results.
The court issued its opinion early this morning, declining to review the lower court decision to remove her from the case.
So it's official. Fanni Willis cannot prosecute Donald Trump and the other 17 co-conspirators for election interference. Let's talk about it.
Yeah, so that's President Trump right here. I mean, Giuliani. I probably know them by name, but I don't know them by face besides, the other ones. Yeah, so those are the only two. I think this is, I can't get the name, but anyway. Go on, let's continue on.
All right, welcome to Fulton County, Georgia, and this is Fanni Willis. She is the current district attorney of Fulton County. Now, for those of you who don't remember, back in 2021, Fanni Willis began investigating Donald Trump and his allies for their attempts to allegedly overturn Georgia's 2020 presidential election. Now, she put together a team of crackpot lawyers, including a guy named Nathan Wade. Now, after 2 years of investigating, on August 14, 2023, Trump and 18 were indicted under Georgia's RICO law.
Thank you for joining us. I'm here with the prosecutor.
This is the time when even like The View, all the left, the Democrats and all that, I mean, they were just like, boy, we got him, I mean, I see it on Facebook, Instagram, all in the political realm, and they were hailing her like, she's about to win the presidential elections, They're touting like that. Someday she's going to be a president. Someday she's going to hold the highest office. I don't know. Maybe it's, a DOJ or whatever. So, yeah, at this moment, she's on the high, she thinks that she's above, she's above the ground, per se. Above the ground. She's high.
And investigators who have worked diligently on the investigation of criminal attempts to interfere in the administration of Georgia's 2020 presidential election. Today, based on information developed by that investigation, a Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment, charging 19 individuals.
All of those people are involved in that, investigators all the way up to the judge and all Democrats. All Democrats, if not 99.9999. That's right. Where were we? Right there.
On information developed by that investigation, a Fulton County grand jury returned a true bill of indictment, charging 19 individuals with violations of Georgia law arising from a criminal conspiracy to overturn the results of the 2020 presidential election in this state. The indictment includes 41 felony counts and is 97 pages long. Please remember that everyone charged in this bill of indictment is presumed innocent. Specifically,
Once you got
the indictment brings felony charges against Donald John Trump.
So now this is where things get interesting. In January of 2024, one of the defendants, Mike Roman, he filed a motion claiming that Fanni Willis was having a romantic relationship with one of the prosecutors she had hired to handle the case. His name was Nathan Wade. He was the one standing right next to her when she made the announcement of the charges. Now, the motion essentially laid out a kickback scheme, saying that DA Willis had hired her boyfriend to prosecute Trump, and in turn, he would then spend the money that was paid to him by Fanni Willis to take her on elaborate vacations to Napa Valley, Caribbean cruises, etc.
We're able to verify that through other subpoenas or open records requests or whatever?
Yes, I was. I was able to, I subpoenaed bank records, I subpoenaed credit card records, and then I actually subpoenaed the travel agencies that Mr. Wade used for some of those trips. He used, 2 of the cruises that they took, he used a travel agency. So there was a cruise to the Bahamas I got through a travel agency. There was a trip to Aruba that I got through the travel agency. And then there was another cruise, I think that one's to the Bahamas also, that I got through a different travel agency. And then his credit cards were the ones that showed all the Belize trips.
And they showed that he was buying the tickets for both himself and Miss Willis?
Oh, yes, the credit card statements. So because I guess he used a travel agency, his credit card statements actually had her name and seat number and all that on it.
Clear it was paid for by him on his credit cards?
Yes. Oh, yes.
Right. Is this the document you gave us from the Capital One there?
It is, yes. And there you can see, so Clara Bowman is Mr. Wade's mom. So this trip, this was the cruise that happened October 31st.
See, they couldn't. They're trying to fake that too, and they're trying to say that they're using cash on some of those trips, like trip to Vegas and all of that. So, I mean, they're trying to game the system. They think they are the system. They think they think that, look, we are indicting the president of the United States. We're the it. So, and that's what's going on here. So
around that date, Mr. Wade paid for Miss Willis, Mr. Wade, and then his mother's plane tickets, and then also their cruise.
Now, since the argument was that Fanni Willis was paying Nathan Wade and then getting this kickback for elaborate vacations, Fanni Willis said that actually she paid back. She paid back Nathan Wade all of the money. So when she was asked, well, do you have any receipts of those reimbursements? She said she has no receipts because she paid him back all in cash.
And then after that cruise, you all flew to Aruba and spent a couple days in a hotel there, correct?
Right, and his mother was not happy.
He
that we left her
initially
behind.
paid for that.
yeah, she was. I saw this hearing, and Fanni Willis was not happy. She was actually. This is all in her mind that she thinks that she can game the system, and accuse everyone of racism, and just being the victim herself. I mean, that's and that's the story unfold, and you're gonna see that.
He initially paid for that.
For Aruba, yes, ma'am.
So let's talk about both of those. I know he initially paid for it. Did you pay him back?
For the cruise and for Aruba, yeah, I gave him his money before we ever went on that trip.
You gave him cash before you ever went on the trip? Mm-hmm. Okay. And so when you got cash to pay him back on these trips, would you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM?
No.
Okay.
Did you say no, lady?
Fulton County pays.
No.
Okay.
Wait.
So should you go to the ATM?
No, lady.
You would not go to the ATM.
See, that's the body language right there. No, lady. Because how did you get the cash? How do you obtain the cash? How do you were you just carrying all those wad of cash all the time?
Yeah.
No.
Okay. So
See,
Fulton County pays you direct deposit, I assume?
Yes, Fulton County and the state of Georgia both pay me direct deposits.
Okay. So the cash that you would pay him, you wouldn't get it out of the bank?
I have money in my house.
You have money in your house. So it was just money that was there.
When you meet my father, he's going to tell you as a woman, you should always have, which I don't have, so let's don't tell him that. You should have at least 6 months in cash at your house at all times.
Talking about outside of that, did you ever pay him anything?
See how she said that? She know that the dad is listening, or someone is listening to relay that message to her dad. See? Trying to game the system.
Other than cash.
I've only given him cash a few times in the course of what we're talking about. Probably the most money I've ever handed him is $2,500. The least amount of money I've handed him, probably between $500 and $1,000.
You said in the affidavit that you roughly shared travel, though, correct?
Yes, ma'am.
Okay. So this roughly sharing travel, you're saying she reimbursed you.
She did.
And where did you deposit the money she reimbursed you?
It was cash. She didn't give me any checks.
At some points, Wade appeared to struggle to answer questions.
So that's why they say all cash, because it's all untraceable. You know, they could have just say it's all on crypto, but then again, you have to turn that crypto into cash. You know, but I don't know if people are smart enough to use crypto. You know. Anyways,
about his relationship with Willis.
Did you go to a cabin with Miss Willis ever?
Ever?
Ever.
Ever? Ever? Wow. Gee, you gotta really think that hard, bro. You're like, wait a minute, where am I going with this? If I say this, Come on. Oh boy.
No.
All right, so the judge had a decision to make whether he was going to disqualify Fanni Willis because she now had this financial incentive to continue to prosecute Donald Trump. And the financial incentive was because Nathan Wade was getting paid and then she was going on these elaborate trips with Nathan Wade. And there was no evidence that she was even paying him back because she's saying she's paying him back in cash. And then when you say, well, how'd you get the cash? You know, you get paid through direct deposit. She says, well, yeah, even though I get paid through direct deposit, I have magic cash at home that I can't trace back to taking it out of a bank. So the judge wasn't fooled, and he came down and said, hey, it's obvious there's some funny business going on. So the trial judge gave Fanni Willis an option. Either she can drop the case in its entirety and send it to some other DA, or she can fire her boyfriend and continue on with the case. Fanni Willis chose to fire her boyfriend and continue on with the case.
A big headline at midday.
That was a huge chunk of money out of that Wade guy, because he was getting paid a lot. I mean, yeah, so dude is probably like, man.
County judge ruled today that District Attorney Fanni Willis may stay on the case, charging former President Donald Trump and his allies with trying to overturn the 2020 election results in Georgia, but only if Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade steps aside.
Superior Court Judge Scott McAfee says he's giving the state of Georgia two options in its criminal case against former President Donald Trump and co-defendants. He says DA Fanni Willis may choose to step aside along with her office, or Special Prosecutor Nathan Wade can withdraw.
So the defendants then appealed the decision, saying that Fanni Willis should be totally disqualified.
Yeah.
The fact that she fired Nathan Wade doesn't fix the problem.
Doesn't.
She still allegedly took money in this particular scheme. So they appealed, and the appeals court agreed and said, we're going to just remove Fanni Willis's office from the case.
We do want to continue talking about this developing story that we brought you here maybe just about an hour or so ago. Today, a state appeals court removed Fulton County District Attorney Fanni Willis from the Georgia election interference case against President-elect Donald Trump and others, but did not dismiss the indictment, leaving the future of the prosecution uncertain.
So the appeals court kicked Fanni Willis off the case. So Fanni Willis and the district attorney's office there appealed that ruling to the state Supreme Court, asking the state Supreme Court to reinstate the lower court's ruling, essentially saying Fanni Willis can prosecute the case as long as she fired Nathan Wade. Here's what the Supreme Court had to say.
Thank you. Tonight, a major shakeup in one of the most anticipated legal cases ever coming out of Atlanta. Fulton County District Attorney is no longer prosecuting the case looking into the 2020 allegations of election interference by our now President Donald Trump.
Today, the Georgia Supreme Court, with a narrow 4-3 decision, they decided not to hear DA Fanni Willis's appeal to stay on this case. So she is off the case. Who is now prosecuting this case? Well, that's up to one man, the executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia. I sat down with him today to get some answers.
Does that mean this case is dead in the water?
No. What that means is this particular prosecutor, District Attorney Fanni Willis, is now off the case.
And who is now on the case? That's up to Pete Skandalakis, executive director of the Prosecuting Attorneys Council of Georgia.
I think the public wants some finality, make a decision, let's go.
Skandalakis said he could choose the state attorney general, another district attorney, solicitor general, a private attorney, or himself to take up the case.
So Fanni Willis is off the case for good, and let's see if some other DA will take this case. Fanni Willis also made a statement after the Supreme Court essentially threw her off the case.
Fanni Willis declined an on-camera interview and said in a statement she's disappointed by the ruling, but added, quote, "I hope that whoever is assigned to handle the case will have the courage to do what the evidence and the law demand."
So I'm going to throw it to you. Do you think another prosecutor is going to take up this case?
No.
I think this case is dead in the water.
It is dead in the water because it's it's going to take a long time, and before they even turn around, that Trump will be, out of the no longer president. I don't know if that's relevant, but it will. I mean, this is not Trump's first rodeo. You know what I mean? They know Trump's got some good lawyers and some money to spend. You know what I mean? So that's, it will be dead in the water, and it will be, I don't know, if the waste of taxpayers' money in Georgia, for the allege. I mean, if you got to look at the allege and how they were indicted and how they were charged, it is all bogus. Fanni Willis and all of them know that. All bogus, So look it up if you want to. But this is it, guys. Thank you for hanging out. I know I'm just a small YouTube content creator, but I do what I do and I love what I do. This is how I vent. So if you appreciate my content, comment, like, and share if you like. And we will continue on. Until next time, have a good weekend. God bless you all.